5 friends got into that car. Only one crawled out. And the one who survived? He wishes the darkness had taken him too. We all know the rules of December travel in Nigeria. Pray before you move. Don't travel at night. And never ever ignore your mother's bad dream. Tunde thought it was just superstition. He thought the road was just asphalt and dust. He was wrong. Some roads are hungry, and on this specific Thursday, the road to Kogi was ready to eat. This is the story of a journey that should have never happened. A story about the warnings we ignore until it is too late. The sun had not fully risen when Tunde stepped outside, car keys dangling from his hand, a half smile fighting the cold breeze of dawn. The sky was pale and heavy, like a lid pressed over the earth. He squinted toward the gate, where his mother stood, wrapper tied tightly around her chest, arms folded. "Tunde, you sure you must go today?" she asked quietly. He chuckled. "Mommy, please don't start. You know December traffic. If we don't leave early, we'll sleep on the road." She didn't laugh. Her eyes stayed fixed on him, the way only mothers look at their children, half warning, half prayer. "I had a dream last night. You were on a road full of fog. I called your name, but you didn't hear me." He paused, pretending to check his phone. "Mommy, you worry too much. It's just a dream." "Then pray," she said. "Just pray before you go." "I will," he replied, but he didn't. At 6:15 a.m., the Toyota Corolla was already packed. Ada, the one who always carried too many bags, squeezed them into the back seat. Kule and Jide argued about playlists, while Muna, the quiet one, adjusted her seatbelt like she was strapping into an airplane. They were 5 in total, friends since university, finally escaping Lagos madness to spend Christmas in Kogi. The first sign came before they left the street. The car stalled twice. Tunde frowned, pressed the ignition again, and the engine roared reluctantly to life. "Guy, na sign o," Jide joked. "Maybe we should just stay in Lagos and eat traffic for Christmas." They laughed, and the laughter swallowed the unease. At Berger, an old man approached the car while they waited at a fuel station. His clothes were dusty, his eyes strangely clear. "Good morning, my children," he said, voice soft but firm. "You are traveling, yes?" Tunde nodded impatiently. "Pray before you go. The road is not clean today." Ada hissed. "I beg, uncle, we don't pray." The man only smiled sadly. "Then go with light." He walked away before they could ask what he meant. By 8 a.m., they were on the expressway. The city faded into open land, red dust rising behind them. The air inside the car smelled of snacks and body spray. Afro beats poured from the speakers, drowning whatever silence tried to creep in. But the signs kept whispering. A hawk perched on an electric pole followed their car with its eyes as they passed. A truck driver ahead suddenly veered off the road for no reason, and each time Tunde glanced at his rearview mirror, it seemed as though something dark and distant was always following. A shadow that kept its distance but never disappeared. Around noon, near Ibadan bypass, another tire deflated suddenly. Tunde pulled over. They got out, laughing again, but their voices trembled slightly. Kunle inspected the tire. "Bro, how?" "It's brand new." "Maybe the road's cursed," Ada said lightly, but no one replied. While they changed the tire, a pastor's bus pulled up beside them. A woman's voice sang softly from inside, repeating, "He will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life." When the bus drove away, the song lingered in their heads longer than expected. Back on the road, silence stretched between them. Even the music didn't feel right anymore. Tunde's hands gripped the steering wheel tighter, and his mother's words echoed faintly. I called your name, but you didn't hear me. As dusk began to fall, the sky turned bruised purple. Muna, half asleep, whispered, Let's pray, please. Ada rolled her eyes. You and your fear. The next morning, sunlight hit the car windshield like polished fire. They had spent the night in a cheap motel along the highway. Thin mattresses, flickering bulbs, and a generator that coughed like an old smoker. Nobody had slept well. Tunde woke first. He stood outside, brushing his teeth with bottled water, staring at the road ahead. It seemed endless, one ribbon of asphalt swallowed by shimmering heat. The sky above it was too bright, too empty, as though something unseen waited at the horizon. Muna joined him, wrapping her scarf tightly. You look lost, she said. Just thinking about the road, he replied. Your mother's dream? He turned to her, startled. You overheard? She shrugged. Mothers see things. You should have prayed harder. Before he could answer, Kunle's voice shattered the stillness. Guys, food's ready. They ate akara and pap from the roadside woman whose oil smelled like burnt history. She smiled at them with missing teeth. Where una they go? She asked. Kogi, Ada answered brightly. The woman nodded slowly. Pray, oh, that road no dey smile. They laughed again, because laughter was easier than fear. By 9, they were back on the expressway. The road ahead stretched through farmlands and scattered villages. Children waved at passing cars. Goats crossed lazily like they owned the world. But somewhere past Obomoso, the air changed. The sky dimmed even though the sun was still visible. Inside the car, conversation grew forced. Jide played music, but every song seemed to end too soon or skip strangely, as if the radio didn't want to cooperate. At a checkpoint, 2 policemen waved them down. Their uniforms were dusty, their faces unreadable. Where una they go? One asked. Kogi, sir, Tunde said. The officer peered into the car. His gaze lingered on Muna, then on the crucifix hanging from the mirror. You people pray before entering road? He asked. Ada groaned softly. Yes, officer, we did. Good, he said, still staring. Because this stretch gets stories. Just drive slow. When they drove off, silence returned, thicker now. An hour later, they passed a broken-down bus tilted by the roadside. Dozens of passengers stood nearby, their faces blank with shock. A man waved them to stop. Abeg, phone, we need to call ambulance. Tunde slowed instinctively, but Kule grabbed his arm. No stop, no stop. These days, you stop to help, they rob you. Tunde hesitated, then drove on. In the mirror, he saw the man drop to his knees, still waving. Maybe we should have stopped, Muna whispered. Let's not add stranger wahala, Ada said sharply. By late afternoon, the sky turned coppery, the kind of color that smells like rain. A thin mist began to crawl over the road. Muna pressed her forehead against the window. It's too early for fog. Tunde nodded, eyes narrowing. The weather's confused. The fog thickened. Trees blurred into shadows, and the yellow lines on the road vanished into gray smoke. The car slowed to a crawl. Then, from somewhere in that mist, they saw a figure, a small child standing at the edge of the road, waving. White shirt, no shoes. The motion of his hand was slow, rhythmic. Stop! Muna shouted. Tunde hit the brakes. The car shuddered to a halt. But when he looked properly, the child was gone. Everyone spoke at once. Maybe it was reflection. No, I saw him. It could be mist. Let's just move, I beg. Tunde started the engine again. The car rolled forward slowly, wheels crunching on unseen gravel. Inside, hearts pounded louder than the music. When they finally emerged from the fog, daylight had dimmed. The road stretched ahead again, but the world behind them was swallowed in grey. Ada exhaled. That was creepy. Muna crossed herself silently. Jide chuckled nervously. Maybe it was Angel of the Road. Or Ghost of Unpaid Toll, Kule said, forcing a grin. Nobody laughed this time. That night, they reached the next town and stopped for fuel. The attendant filled the tank halfway and leaned closer to Tunde's window. Oga, you people came from Ibadan side? Yes. Why? The man nodded slowly. I just hear say one small boy died on that road this morning. Hit and run. The air inside the car went cold. They said nothing. As they drove off, Tunde's hands trembled slightly on the steering. The radio hissed and went dead, leaving only the hum of the tires. The road was beginning to speak, and though none of them admitted it, each one heard something different, whispers too faint to share. The clouds gathered faster than anyone expected. It wasn't the slow build of an afternoon drizzle, but the kind of storm that felt summoned. Tunde squinted through the blur. I can't see a thing, he muttered. Kule, sitting in front, leaned closer, trying to help spot the faint white lines that marked the road. Behind them, the others had grown quiet. The rain drowned out the music, the chatter, even the argument. It was just them now, 5 silhouettes moving through a world erased by water. No light. The rain thickened again, drumming hard enough to shake the car. A flash of memory. His mother's voice that morning, warning him not to travel on Thursdays. Some roads remember who passed before. He had laughed it off then. Now, her words coiled through his mind like smoke. He slowed down, calculating how much was left, when the headlights picked up something ahead. A signboard half fallen into the mud. He could barely make out the words. Welcome to Ijumo Bridge. There, Tunde said. That's it. We cross and rest. Relief rippled through the car, fragile but real. But as they reached the bridge, the storm changed. The rain didn't fall on the car anymore. It fell around it, like an invisible wall had formed. The sound dimmed. The air grew too still. Kule turned to him. Are you hearing this? Before Tunde could answer, the headlights flickered. Once, twice, then total blackness. The engine coughed, choked, died. The car rolled to a stop in the middle of the bridge. Tunde tried the ignition. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. His heartbeat filled his ears. Muna whispered, let's pray. But then, faint, from the rear, came a knock. 1, 2, 3 slow taps against the back window. Every head turned. Through the fogged glass, the faint outline of a hand pressed against the window pane. Small, pale, unmoving. Tunde's breath caught. Don't look, he said. But it was too late. The hand slid downward, leaving a long, wet streak behind, and vanished. The rain started again, harder. The car shuddered. Tunde forced the key one last time. The engine roared to life. He slammed the accelerator, tires spinning against the slick bridge. As they crossed, thunder cracked directly overhead. The headlights cut through the mist, and for a moment, they all saw it. A wrecked bus at the far end of the bridge, rusted, half submerged, vines crawling over its sides. On the shattered glass of its windshield, someone had written in the mud, "Turn back." But Tunde didn't stop. He drove on, faster than he ever had. The bridge disappeared behind them, and with it, the last thing that could have saved them. Then, a flicker. A truck appeared ahead, its taillights blurred by mist. Tunde slowed a little, but something felt wrong. The truck wasn't moving at a normal speed. It seemed to float, almost sliding across the road without sound. "Can you see that?" Kule whispered. Tunde didn't answer. He flashed his lights once, twice. No response. He pressed harder on the horn. The sound blared through the storm, bouncing off unseen walls of fog. Then, just as suddenly, the truck's lights went out. Darkness swallowed them whole. Where Muna began, but her words ended in a scream. The truck was right in front of them. No headlights, no warning, only the glint of a massive metal grill. Tunde yanked the wheel left, tires screeching. The world spun. Metal met metal with a deafening crack. Glass exploded. Weightlessness, then pain, bright and shapeless. The car rolled once, twice, and came to rest upside down in the mud. Rain poured in through shattered windows. Steam hissed from the hood. The air reeked of fuel. Tunde hung from his seatbelt, disoriented, blood trickling down his temple. "Kule," he called. No reply. He turned. Muna's hand dangled, limp, streaked with red. He forced the door open, stumbled out into the night. The truck was gone. Only tire marks remained, vanishing into the fog. Behind him, the river roared below, wild and dark. The bridge was nowhere in sight. He fell to his knees, coughing, calling their names again. Nothing. Only the road, endless, patient. He turned to the wreck one last time. Then everything dimmed. The rain, the pain, even the fear, until there was only quiet, and the road kept going, stretching forward into the mist, waiting for the next traveler who wouldn't listen. The world came back in fragments, a siren, a shout, the sharp sting of antiseptic. Tunde opened his eyes to white light and motion. For a moment, he couldn't tell if it was heaven or hospital. His throat burned when he tried to speak. A nurse leaned over him, her face soft with practiced calm. "You're lucky," she said. "They found you by the roadside at dawn." Her words were distant, like sound underwater. He tried to sit up, but pain pinned him down. His mind fought to piece the night together. The bridge, the crash, the rain, the others. "Where are they?" he rasped. The nurse hesitated. "You should rest." He knew. Before she said anything else, he knew. The silence in her pause told the story. Days passed in a blur of drips and dreams. Reporters came and went. Police took statements. They said there was no truck, no bridge at the location he described, only an abandoned stretch of road that ended near a ravine. They'd found the car wrecked at the edge, but not submerged. Only one survivor. Tunde stopped answering questions. He stared at the wall instead, replaying the drive again and again. Every decision, every ignored warning. His mother's trembling hand that morning. Some roads remember. When he was discharged, he returned home to faces that had run out of words. At the memorial, the air smelled of wet earth and petrol. Families wept. He stood apart, the outsider among the mourners. Guilt wrapped around him like a second skin. Afterward, he went back to the crash site. The road was quiet, swallowed in weeds. The wind moved through the trees in slow, deliberate breaths. He walked until he reached the edge, where the bridge should have been. There was nothing, no signpost, no railing, only the faint trace of tire marks leading nowhere. He dropped to his knees, touching the mud. It was warm, as if it remembered. Tunde stood there for a long time, the weight of what couldn't be explained pressing against his chest. When he finally turned to leave, he noticed something on the ground near the spot where the car had landed. A cracked phone, its screen lit with the last photo taken. The five of them smiling in the car, rain clouds gathering above. He pocketed it gently, whispering to no one in particular, "I heard you." That night, sleep came in patches. He dreamt of driving again, but this time the road was dry, the sky wide and clear. When he woke, dawn was breaking. He went outside, letting the morning light settle on his skin. The world was the same, but he wasn't. Some journeys, he thought, never end. They just wait, teaching you to listen before you start the engine again. And somewhere far away, beneath that forgotten stretch of road, the river kept flowing. Steady, ancient, and full of secrets only the lost could tell. This story isn't just about ghosts or monsters. It's about the arrogance of youth. It's about that voice, your mother's voice, a stranger's voice, your own gut feeling, screaming at you to stop. Please listen to that voice. It might just save you. Thank you for watching. If you want to support our African storytelling channel, please subscribe and share this video with a traveler you love.